Hi everybody, my name is Michael. I'm with Micronova, the company that manufactures the Amplipro, which I have right here in front of me. I'm going to do a little quick walkthrough of how to set up the Amplipro, and then we're going to do a quick user interface walkthrough as well. So real quick, we have the Amplipro right here. It has the QR code on the front to also show you how to set it up, but if you're at this video, you won't need to do that. Here we have the back of the Amplipro. I'm going to talk about each port real quick. We have the power, we have the service USB. This is in case you need to reflash your Pi, very rarely used. We have two USB ports, an auxiliary in port, the Ethernet network in. Then we have four source RCA jacks. These are the inputs. We have a chain out, that is a ribbon cable that connects to an expander unit that can expand this box to up to 36 more zones, or let me rephrase that. This ribbon cable out can expand to another expander unit, which has 6 more zones on top of these 6 that already exist, all the way up to 36. So then here we have the Euroblock connectors for the speaker out. So we have 6 zones. These power passive speakers, and then we have 6 more RCA outs that correspond to the zone, and these can power, not power, but they can give audio signals to active speakers or a subwoofer. So just to show you a few things, we are first going to connect our internet, the Ethernet cable here, right here. So now that this is connected to our internet, we can play Spotify, Pandora, internet radio. We also have an auxiliary in. You have a friend over that wants to plug their phone in, or if this connects to a record player or something else that you have in your home, this is another input source. Then we have a USB drive. You could put audio files on here and you could play music from your USB drive. Then lastly, where'd it go? Here it is. We have our RCA jacks on another record player, or you could hook this up to your TV as well and play audio from your TV source. So these are the inputs. Then we also have the outputs here. So this is a Euroblock connector that can power some passive speakers up to 6 zones. We're going to use the same RCA jack here, plug it in here. So it's pretty versatile, it has a lot of options. I'll flip it around, and I have the power cable here that I'm going to plug into the power jack. And then, well, make sure your power's on. Then the light is going to flash for probably about 30 seconds while this boots up. And the e-ink display here is also going to flash and show Micronova. Eventually it'll show you your serial number and any other information relevant to the Amplipro. It's going to show you the IP address for your Amplipro and other information like that. Thanks, guys. Hello. We are going to be doing a walkthrough of the Amplipro's software, Amplipro. So if you're on your local network, your Wi-Fi, the same internet that your Amplipro is connected to, just go to amplify.local. Once you do, you'll be presented with this screen. We're going to show this in the format of a mobile phone, but it looks pretty much identical on a desktop browser. So let's get into it. So let's go over the home screen. We have the home button. We have 4 buttons, one of them being the home. We have this plus the presets and this gear. This gear button is the settings. It takes us to the settings screen. We'll get into this a little bit later. Let's go back to the home. We have 2 more options available. We have presets. This is another thing that we're going to get into later once we set up some presets. The next is the plus button. These are this is where you select your streams and decide what to play on your Amplipro. We have 6 defaulted options: the aux, which is your headphone jack, these 4 RCA inputs, and Groove Salad, which is a default internet radio station. Let's get started. Let's play some Groove Salad. So that immediately asks us which of the speaker zones we want to play on. We're going to go ahead and play it on zone 1. All right, here we go. Groove Salad. We are playing whatever this song title is. Oral. Oh God, I can't say it right now. We're playing this song, and we have a volume slider. We have a mute, unmute button. We can also go back to our zones and add more zones. So it says zone 1 plus 1 more, or we could take it away. The other thing we can do is hit the stream selection itself, so Groove Salad, and we can toggle to input 1, for example. We can add more streams. Let's do some input 2 on zone 4. Let's do some Groove Salad on zone 6. Here we are at the player. So yeah, that's another thing. So let's look at input 2, for example. I have 2 streams selected. So this 5th button of the home screen kind of pops up, which is the player. Which has all your basic functions. On some of the streams, you can skip forward, depending on what it is, like Spotify. But here we can control the volume for this stream selected, but then we can individually control the zone volume as well. That's a pretty neat feature of the player. I just want to max it out. So zone 4, or input 4 rather, let's do zone 4. And then we've maxed it out. We have 4 available streams that we can play on the Amplipro. So this is what it looks like once we're playing everything on all available streams. Another thing, so we have zone 1 here on input 1. Let's add zone 1 there. So this option is still here. It just says add zones. And this is still kind of occupying we call them sources. We have 4 sources that we can play music from. And this is still occupying that source. We can close it out, and then the plus button pops back up. And we can also eliminate the streams by closing them out with that X button. All right, let's move on to the settings button. I think I covered everything here. This is mostly select stream, and we might come back here for another option or two, but I think that is about everything. So let's move on to settings. All right, here we have our settings screen. We have a bunch of options: stream, zones, groups, etc. We're going to go from the top down. So let's go to streams. All right, we have our 6 options that we had back on our home screen. These are the streams, but here is where we add, subtract, and edit our streams. So let's start with editing. So input 1, this is the RCA jack on the back of your Amplipro. So if you have your record player hooked up to input 1, let's change the name to record player. So let me type that in real quick. Record player. And on input 2, let's say you had your TV connected to that. Or whatever device. We could put an input 3 MP3 player. MP # player. MP3 player. All right, so it's really nice that you can change the names. If you're trying to control your Amplipro and you're like, oh darn it, which one is input 1 again? Is that the record player or the MP3 player? You can just change the names. That's lovely. All right, let's add a stream. We're gonna add a stream. So that's editing the names, but adding a stream, we're gonna hit the plus button. So we have a lot of options for different stream types that we can add. Let's start with Airplay device, and we're also gonna do Spotify Connect. So Airplay device, let's create a stream. We're gonna go with Ghosts. All right. Clearly, I've been typing this in before. So this is just regular AirPlay. Ghosts. And then let's do another one. Let's do werewolves. And we're going to call that AirPlay 2. You just do AirPlay 2 by selecting that little checkbox. And then Spotify Connect. We'll do spiders. All right. So we have these three stream types. They work exactly the same. You just give them a name, and then you go ahead and select them to be playing on your Amplipro. So from here on Spotify, there's an option on the if you're playing a song, there's an option for where it can stream to, and it can usually discover speakers. If you're on the same Wi-Fi, you'll be able to discover spiders. Same thing for AirPlay, whether it be 1 or 2. On your iPhone, there's a place for AirPlay where you can discover an AirPlay device, and it'll be titled Ghosts or Werewolves if it's AirPlay 2. That's Spotify and AirPlay. All right, next let's add an internet radio station. All right, so here we have a search feature, and I'm just gonna drop a URL in here. This is the database that the search feature uses, is from radio-browser.info. It is a community collection of free internet radio stations. So just nice little plug for them. It's a really neat free resource on the internet. All right, so let's search something. Let's search punk. It'll give you the top 10 options of that search term. So Russian punk rock, why not? So if you select that, I wanted to show you something else. If you select it, it'll populate the URL, the name of the radio station. Sometimes there's a little station logo associated with it. And here we have a new internet radio station. Let's do one more just for fun. Beyonce. Exclusively Beyonce. So here's another one where you have a station logo that gets populated. All right, and let's go back to our home screen. We're gonna add a Beyonce stream on one. So that's the station logo, which is just a boring orange play symbol. And then Russian punk rock, we'll put that on zone 2. Yeah, that is an internet radio station. They're kind of great, honestly. Also, like, you can have a lot of streams here, so this page can get pretty busy. Pandora. All right, I need to get logged into Pandora here. So, all right, let's do a Pandora station next. I'm gonna take a second to get my username and password. All right, so I have my password in here. What should we name this? Zombies. All right. So we have our Pandora station created, zombies. So here we have station ID, so you can have a specific Pandora station, like the Nirvana station if you want here, but I want to show you why that is unnecessary. So our streams are getting pretty busy. Let's go back to the home screen. Let's go down and add zombies to zone 1. All right, we have Eminem playing apparently on zone 1 here. Oh no, it jumped to something else. So remember here how we have the player? We can like or dislike or skip the song if we wanted to. But there's another new 6th button that popped up, and this is specific to Pandora. These are all of the Pandora stations that we can play here. So let's do Massive Attack Radio. It would be cool if this tutorial could have music with it as I'm going through this, but that's a pretty neat feature of Pandora Radio, is we can control which station you want to listen to from the Amplipro. All right, so we have a few other options and streams. DLNA, LMS, file player, Spotify. Oh, we already went through Spotify and media device. All right. File player, I'm just going to kind of describe. So enter URL of file to play. So here we have a URL of a NASA website that has audio that we can play. So if you copy and paste that, and because of this screen recording that I'm using, it's not going to let me copy and paste, but you put the URL in here, select it, and it'll play specifically from that URL. That is file player. I need to go hook up a USB device for USB. All right, which is media device. That it could also be something other than a USB file. It could be some other device, but a USB drive is pretty neat. So let's see. The two that we're missing then are DLNA and LMS. We will get into those later. Let me pause for a moment and find a USB drive with audio on it. All right, here we are. I have my USB drive hooked up. I have a couple songs on it. So let's select media player. What could we name it this time? Already did werewolves. Witches. Why not? All right. So we've created our media device stream. Zone 1. Okay. Huh. Oh, here we are. MP3s. All right, so we, from here, can select our MP3s. I believe, so let's go to our player. It's going to play Eminem's Lose Yourself, and then it'll go right to Beyonce. So you can have a pretty large file system in here. You can put your songs into playlists and put them into folders. So yeah, that's a pretty neat option that we have here with the media player. All right, streams. Let's move on to zones. There's 2 more stream options in here that I've not covered, which is DLNA and LMS. I'm going to pause on that and move on to zones, however. So let's get out of here. All right. Zones. All right, zone 1. Let's say zone 1 is in the kitchen. If we hit apply, it changes the name of zone 1 to kitchen. So remembering which set of speakers, zones 1 through 6, where they are in the house, can be a little confusing. So it's nice to have them named. So let's go ahead and name our zones. There's another feature in here, the max volume and min volume. So you can limit the max volume. So you can have the volume slider all the way up to max. And if if I could type -20 in here, even when the volume slider is all the way maxed out, it won't actually max out the volume on the speaker, which can be a nice feature if you don't want to like blast speakers. All right, so kitchen, living room, patio. Where else do we want our zones? Garage. Oh, I want to show you one more thing. So we're changing zone 5 to basement, right? If we just do this, it didn't actually change it. We have to hit apply in order for it to be changed. All right, what other rooms in the house are there? Colonel Mustard in the study with the candlestick. All right. So that's zones. You can name them. You can adjust the volume maximums. And we have our zones. It's quite neat. Next, we have groups. Automatically starts out with 0. So what this does is it can group sets of zones together. So let's say outside, we have a set of outside speakers, which would be our patio and garage speakers. And we've created an outside zone. What do you call a kitchen living room combo? A cliving room, right? So we can combine the kitchen and living room. We can do another group, which is, oh, nope, not up there. Everywhere. And we can select all of the zones. Upstairs, downstairs. The groups are pretty useful. Again, it gives you more control over your Amplipro. So we want to play our exclusively Beyonce. We can play it in the living room and outside. And it's not going to be played in the basement or the study, which is kind of nice. It automatically selects these options. Oh, we're in the garage working. We don't actually want that. We have to concentrate. We can unselect it. So it provides more versatility and control of the Amplipro. Zones are pretty great. Groups are pretty great. Zones are great. Everything's amazing. All right, let's move on to presets. All right, moving on to presets. So let's look at what's going on right now. There's nothing playing. So if we go to presets and create something, there's nothing for it to save. So it's going to save the state of your Amplipro, like which streams are playing, which volumes are at. So let's create a state. Kitchen, patio. Bad clicking. All right. Kitchen, patio. We're going to play the record. We're going to add another stream. We're going to play Spotify Spiders in the basement and study. And we're going to set the volume up high. So we can name this Sunday morning. Let's say you want I can't type and talk at the same time. Sunday morning. All right, so let's say you want, and also we need to select what we want, what of this state that we want to save, the stream, the volume, and the source. So source 1, record player, stream, volume. So Sunday morning vibes, we have the basement playing, the basement and the study playing the Spotify, and the kitchen is playing whatever. All right, let's remove these, create a new state. We're going to do groove salad, and we're just going to do that everywhere, including the study, which we didn't select in our preset. All right, so let's go to presets. Oh, also groove salad everywhere. We're going to turn the volume low, just so you can see what presets are going to do. And we're going to call this getting ready. And then let's create a new stream that's also going to be everywhere. I'm going to close out Groove Salad and turn this all the way up. I'm just creating a bunch of different states here to kind of show you what this can do. I'm going to call this alarm. All right. So we have a couple different presets. Let's see what they do. So let's close everything out. Let's select alarm. All right. We see what that does. Let's select Sunday morning. So these are the same states that we had. Oh, gosh. Oh, that was restore last config. So alarm, getting ready, which looks like I didn't save it for getting ready. Yeah. All right. So getting ready, I didn't actually hit that little checkbox, so it didn't change anything. Right? Yeah, nothing changes when I hit getting ready. But the preset is a toggle of the state of the Amplipro. So go here to the preset. We can save a new one. So we select everything that we want to save about the state. We'll just give it a gibberish name. So that's the current state. That is alarm. So yeah, this just changes the volume, but you can see how this is supposed to work. It's pretty neat. So a really nice feature, like if you have a party preset or an alarm preset or just Sunday morning chill vibes, it can be kind of nice just to give you a little bit of versatility in controlling your Amplipro. All right, so next we have configuration, admin panel, and about. I'm going to skip over configuration and jump to admin panel. We'll go back to configuration in a moment. So here in admin panel, we can update. So if we're at the latest release, it'll say you're all the way up to date. If not, it'll show you this start update. Yeah, that's latest release. Older releases, you can revert back to an older one. Custom update, we are open source. If you want to tinker around with it and update it yourself, you're more than welcome to. Admin settings, here we can set a password. So let's set a password of 123. 123. Update password. Successfully updated the password. Let's go back. And in order to even use the Amplify, you need to know the super secret password of 123. I'm in. All right. Let's go back to admin panel, back to admin settings. Let's update the password with nothing in it. There. Now we have no more password. All right. Then here we have the persist logs. So let's talk about the logs. Let's go back. If we go here into the about, skipping ahead, we go to the logs. All right. So your Amplipro keeps logs of everything that it's doing. However, it doesn't save these. So if your machine's acting funny for some reason, you can contact support, and a lot of times we will ask to look at your logs, have you send them over to us. Let me get this back center. It can help us troubleshoot. However, if it's kind of doing it here and there, and if you restart your Amplipro, it's not going to save those logs. So what this does is it saves them on your device. It'll automatically turn it off after 14 days. You can change the length of time. It's not something that you want to keep on long term, because using up all that memory can not be good for your Raspberry Pi inside the Amplipro. All right, support tunnel. This gives us, so what you do is you request a support tunnel. It'll create an encryption code where we can go into your device and read it and see what it's doing, and kind of tinker around that way. This will automatically expire. You need to request support tunnel. It'll create the key, and then you email the key to support@Micronova, and only then can we do it, and it'll expire after 14 days. So we can't go into your device unless you allow us to. And then at that, only for a temporary period of time. All right, that is the admin panel. All right, let's look at about real quick. Yeah, so here I had requested a support tunnel, and we have the support tunnel available right here. We have a couple useful links, and this is also how you get to your logs. That's the about panel. Let's do the config now. All right, there's a couple options. Let's do the easy ones. Hardware reset, similar to a reboot, which is a hardware reboot here. So hardware reset doesn't reboot the Raspberry Pi. Hardware reboot does. Hardware shutdown, it'll turn off your Amplipro, and the only way to turn it back on is to unplug it and plug it back in again. Factory config, so this is a factory reset. Upload and download config. So in order to upload a config, we need to download one. So let's download it. So all of the presets, all of the zone names, all of that, the streams that we've set up, that is our config. So if we want to factory reset it, let's do that. So I've downloaded the config. Let's factory reset it. Yes. Give it a second to do that. It's rebooting. All right. Streams back to default. Zones back to default. So let's go back to config. Let's upload our config. Amplipro config right here, which is not on your screen. Let me Amplipro config, open. All right, it's populated here. Let's upload it. Config successfully uploaded. So let's look. Everything's back to normal. All our streams and zones and everything that we've set up are back to normal. So that is everything except for Lyrian Media Server, LMS mode.